Multiple system temperatures are exceeding operating limit. Brake and tire performance suggests thermal degradation. If you keep this pace, several critical systems will fail. The car could go into limp mode. Please exercise caution.
Now, those of you familiar with this channel know that this car performs great in colder weather. Fall or winter or rainy days, I can put down lap after lap with no risk of overheating, and the only thing slowing me down is the occasional brake fade or my own fatigue, focusing for 20 or 30 minutes at a time. But it's summer now, and in fact it's a Georgia June, and we're seeing 80+ degree ambient temperature days. Can this car hold up on a racetrack where temperatures are bound to get extreme? Will I get brake fade? Will the car shut down? I went back to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta to find out. So I did most of this testing over the span of 2 separate track days. On this first day, there was a low of 68 and a high of 88, and I went for 3 sessions. During the first session, I checked temperatures of all 4 tires, the bottom side of the hood, and the engine block. The front left tire before the session was measured with a pyrometer at 103.5 degrees Fahrenheit, the front right 72 degrees, the rear right 74.8 degrees, the rear left 90.9 degrees, the engine hood being 113.2 degrees, the engine block 126.1 degrees. So during the session, I was feeling good. It was my first time on track in several months, and the car felt familiar. And it wasn't until in the middle of the session that I realized that not only was I getting hot, but also the engine oil temperature was shooting up and not coming back down. I didn't notice any brake fade or any sort of noticeable or major greasiness in the tires. What I did notice is just that engine oil temperature just continuing to go up and up and up and not budge coming back down, even during cooler laps. So I decided to end that session early. After the session, I took temperatures of all of the components that I mentioned earlier, with the front left tire having 134.4 degrees, front right 103.7 degrees, rear right 117.3 degrees, rear left 137.8, the engine hood having 107.4 degrees, and the engine block being 137.0 degrees. So noticeable increase in temperatures all around, and I don't recall the exact number, but I was recording the ongoing temperature of my transmission fluid, and that was well above operating temperature. I believe that was hitting almost 260 degrees, when I think the maximum recommended limit is 210 degrees, if I'm not mistaken. The car didn't go into limp mode, but as I mentioned, I had to cut the session short, just to be on the safe side. I've never seen the car get this hot, so it was just new to me. Plus I had the rest of the day to figure things out. During the second session, I had sort of mentally prepared myself for the car to get hot. I was hoping that perhaps I could take a few more cool down laps, get some air to flow over the brakes, the radiator during the back straight, hoping that some wind would help cool things off. And so the starting temperatures, the front left tire being 92.8 degrees, front right 71.2 degrees, the rear right 73.4 degrees, the rear left 92.1 degrees, the engine hood 81.5 degrees, and the engine block 87.1 degrees. And again, this session was feeling good initially. What I did notice is that no amount of sort of cooling down with just pace was effective. Going down the back straight with little throttle was, even with the wind flowing over the brakes, even with the wind flowing over the radiator, the whole car was getting hot. In this session, I did notice the tires were getting very greasy. My brakes were very quick to fade, and ultimately my sessions were significantly shorter again than they were in the cooler months. As expected, it's just that I didn't expect things to get this hot this quickly. So after the session, my front left tire 139.3 degrees, front right, 121.8 degrees, rear right, 110.5 degrees, rear left, 127.4 degrees, the hood, 131.7 degrees, and the engine block, 135.9 degrees. So, with this in mind, it was time for lunch, and I was hoping that, the car could cool down a little bit internally, hoping that, there was a bit of a breeze going on, and that things would be just a little bit different, a little bit more stable with respect to temperatures throughout the session and throughout the day. And now for the third session. We've all come back from lunch. There was a breeze blowing about, hopefully cooling down some of the internals of the car. We're all mentally prepared for just another session in this heat, myself included. And so to start, front left tire temperature, 84.4 degrees, front right, 75 degrees, rear right, 77.5 degrees, rear left, 88.7 degrees. Under the hood, 124.5 degrees on the actual hood, and then the actual engine block, 131.4 degrees. So with this session, I thought it was going to feel great. It actually felt terrible. I just really could not cool down over lunch, realistically. And as I'm going through the session, not only is the car predictably getting hot again early on, but also I'm noticing that I'm seeing symptoms of heat exhaustion. I usually don't sweat when I'm driving, even in the heat. This time I was sweating, my heart rate was up for no reason. So not only was the car sort of getting hot, but I was getting hot. So I cut the session short, and I figured it was only gonna get hot or stay hot throughout the rest of the day. So I actually decided to cut this session short and cut the day short. I had 3 more sessions left, but it just really wasn't working out for me. So I decided to wait till the next track day to continue the research. Bit of a bummer, but at the end of the day, I'm doing this for fun, and I gotta make sure that my well-being is kept paramount. And so with this second day, we had ambient temperatures with a low of 68 degrees and a high of 84 degrees. So relatively similar conditions. Clear skies all around, and my main issue here is that today I, recorded footage, but unfortunately I did not make a point of recording temperatures. As a matter of fact, the only temperatures that I did record were those after my second session, which ended up being my last session unexpectedly for other reasons. And afterward, my front left tire had a temperature of 152.4 degrees, front right 136.6 degrees, rear right 134.0 degrees, 146.5 degrees for the rear left, and under the hood 134.4 degrees, and the engine block had a temperature of 137.3 degrees. And as similar as these temperatures are, I have come to the conclusion that the car itself can indeed handle these extremely hot track days. The limiting factor is indeed me. And I say this because I was able to get through these 2 sessions with no issue. Constant lapping. They were around 15 to 20 minutes on average, and I had no issues sort of with the car going at risk of being in limp mode. I had no issues with myself because I was better prepared for the heat. It was just a much better day with respect to the driving experience. And for that reason, the car held up just fine. It's me. That was the issue. To answer the overarching question, does a luxury car like my Lexus overheat on the racetrack? I would say no. The car does get dangerously hot. It's not quite in, levels where an owner would want to have their car in for extended periods of time or to happen every day. But if you're looking to have fun just like myself and have a machine do what machines are supposed to do, I could care less. I still get plenty of fun. The car doesn't go into limp mode, which would be a true indicator of overheating. If anything, it's the driver that could be a limitation. And I would say keep in mind that this car is bone stock. The car is great. Even without a transmission cooler, oil cooler, the car does great. Ultimately, I hope all this was helpful. I know this research wasn't very rigorous, but I hope it answered a lot of questions for those of y'all who were curious about how my car was handling thermals for these track days. And with that being said, thanks for watching. And if there's anything else you all want me to talk about on this channel, whether it be unique to the IS 500 or just about driving culture in general, feel free to let me know. I put a link in the description for a video idea request form, and let me know directly what you all want to see. Just reach me there, or just put in the comments what you want to see next.